wasn't even the two SD cards that sold me. Now the two SD cards was great. I was super excited about this because I was heavily invested in, like probably many of you, in the SD card market. And obviously bit the bullet on it and tried it out. Here are the three things that I like most about my new Z5. One, weight. With the 24-200 Z 4-6.3 lens and the body itself, this only weighs 2.25 pounds. That is it. Compared to my D810 with my Tamron 24-70 2.8, this bad boy is 4.5 pounds. So as you can tell, walking around with this and shooting handheld through an arboretum, through the Japanese tea garden up in Portland, this was a lot more comfortable to walk around with than this guy. Second thing I like about my Z5 are the ergonomics. Nikon did a really good job figuring out where all your hand placements would be and where the dials are. First thing you'll notice on the Z5, which I appreciate, is that there is no LCD panel. My D810 has that panel, and I gotta tell you, I never use that panel. So by getting rid of the LCD panel, obviously allowed them to shrink it up a little bit, tighten it up a little bit, and just make it a much more minimalistic style design. And so when I need to switch between manual aperture priority, shutter priority, or U1, U2, which I have been using a little bit. Sorry, it's raining. Which is great because it hasn't rained in like a bunch of months. So the other thing that Nikon switched up a little bit outside of removing the LCD on the Z5 model, they also simplified this dial here. You'll notice I can just turn it now. There's no extra button I have to push and then turn. I just can simply spin it with my thumb, which is actually really handy for when I'm out shooting and I want to easily switch between U1, U2, or U3, my user settings, which sometimes I do use and do set. Other times I mostly switch between aperture priority and manual, which is just a one click away. So it's really easy to mentally switch there and not have to first go push the little button and then move it around. And so that's another nice feature, I think, of the ergonomics of the camera that Nikon changed. You'll notice in the back there's less buttons. Less buttons is great because I don't have to think about where the buttons are for play, review, zoom out, zoom in. Everything is on the right side of the camera. The only weird thing that I noticed that they did, and I still haven't figured this out 100% after almost having this camera a year, is they have a joystick and basically a keypad, which almost do the exact same thing. So I'm not really sure where they're going with that, but it would have been nice if the functionality of this joystick was a little bit more robust than it is. I tend to just go back to the joystick because that's what I knew on my D810 and my D600 or D600. So the third thing I love about my Z5 is the technology in the camera. It is truly amazing. The way they redid the menu systems, the way that you actually have multifunction buttons is just, it's incredible. You have now also on the side panel here USB charging. So I can basically plug my USB-C cable in here directly into a USB-A adapter in my car and trickle charge the camera while I'm driving in between shooting locations if I wanted to. Or I could use a power bank. I've done that before as well. Hooked it up to a power bank just to give it a little extra juice in between shooting locations. And the other thing it does have technology-wise is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, which I didn't think I really cared about that much at first, but it turns out with the new Snap Bridge and the built-in Snap Bridge support on this, I actually do use it. I have it set up just to auto listen on Bluetooth, so when I'm out shooting pictures, it's transferring to the phone in my back pocket, which is nice because then I can take a look at them on my phone. I could share them on social media really easily. And the other thing it does do is you can enable precise GPS location. So if my phone has a connection to the camera, I take a picture, it will then geocode the photo of where I took it. And that there, I don't really use that too much on my website or on Instagram, but it is kind of fun to have that metadata inside Instagram and then be able to see where you're kind of taking pictures. But there are three things that I do miss about the D810, and that is one, This is 36.4 megapixels versus my 24 megapixels. Now you think that's only 10 megapixels, but 10 megapixels when you're printing can make a pretty big difference between the quality on a large print and a larger print. The other thing that I do miss on my D810 that the Z5 could use some improvement on is the back panel LCD. For some reason the D810's is brighter and it is crisper, more vivid. It's just a nicer LCD, back LCD. It doesn't rotate out or anything, but it just does a really good job of showing you a preview of your image. And the last thing that I really do miss about my D810 so far are the lenses and the availability of a lot of different companies. We've got Tamron, Sigma, Rokinon, tons of different third-party companies where you can buy good quality lenses for that are reasonably priced. I know Nikon has just released a bunch of new lenses for their Z series, which hopefully will spur a lot more people to buy into the mirrorless, and also encourage more third parties like Tamron and Sigma to start building Z lenses as well. So those are the three things that I really like about the new C5 and that I miss about my D810. And I just noticed today that B&H Photo has the Z5 body only for under $1,000, which is a killer steal if you're really curious about Nikon's mirrorless market and just want to play with it.